Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Clash of the Correspondents from PlanetFPL. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
We have two heavyweights on with us, James. Not actually from their physical stature. I should put that out before I get abused for calling people heavyweights.
Yeah,
but
clarified.
We have people who are, what's the distance between California and Burnley?
I'm not sure if anything's ever been recorded ever between California and Burnley.
3,000 miles. We have Jack at Turfy Topper here representing Burnley. We have Stephen at Sixth Goal representing Watford. How are you, gents?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Stephen, tell me it's sunny in California.
Oh, it's sunny and clear. It's going to be, it's going to be a beautiful day out here. It always is.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to my phone telling me it was -2 at 6:30 today. So send a bit of the sunshine rays this way. Definitely. How are you, Stephen? Feeling more positive in the last 3 or 4 weeks? 3 clean sheets in the last 5. Steady rise off the bottom of the table. I was going to say steady rise up. He was only a couple of spots, isn't it?
Being an 18th, yes, it's nice to finally be out of the bottom of the table, but all is not well. Clean sheets are great. The defense seems to have nutted it up a little bit, and we're doing okay in the back. But I'm still worried where our goals are going to come from. We don't have anybody who's a consistent scorer. People can talk all they want about Jorge De La Feu, but he's not going to be able to carry this team.
Do you not think Troy Deeney coming back offers you something?
Oh, it offers us a huge inspiration on the pitch. Sure. I mean, he's our leader. He's our captain. I know you're not his biggest fan, which is fine. But he is the sort of individual we do need on the pitch. I don't care if he doesn't score 5 goals this year, but just his presence alone to get in there and bang and, get up front and stand in the box. We have nobody who wants to stand in the 6-yard box to do whatever they can, which is a little bit concerning. But then again, that's the offense we run. You can't do it with 2 forwards up there on a 5-3-2. No matter what Quique Sanchez-Flores does, he's going to play that all year, and we're going to struggle all year. So, pick up some of these must-win games. Nothing against Jack or Burnley, but these lower league teams, and then get a couple of draws along the way. And yeah, we may limp home to 40 points this year and 16th or 17th, but you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's a key point, Stephen. It might not have been what you wanted pre-season, but I think now, you would take 17th and just stay up. You've been, in obviously your regular articles and on Twitter, you've been quite critical of Sanchez-Flores basically from the minute he got reappointed. Does that stem from the first spell or just the fact that he's quite defensive-minded in his thinking?
Tell me, would you who was average at best first go around? I can't say that, yes, he did well that first season after he got promoted, but I don't think you can play a 5-3-2. I mean, if you have the people up front, somebody who's more prolific like a Jamie Vardy who can find the back of the net, then yeah, I would be okay with that playing on the counterattack. But De La Feu, he's got very little confidence. Yeah, I know he's had a couple of goals in the last couple of games, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. So it's a great feeling to finally see him get off and start scoring. But you look at his shooting numbers from last year, and they were just abysmal. And I don't think it's gotten any better this year. You dump Correa in the middle with them, and they're both number 10s. I heard this on a Watford podcast. They play like number 10s. They're looking for someone to pass the ball to, and when there's nobody in front of them, they're sometimes taking ill-advised shots, and we need to capitalize on the shots we take. And 2 shots, 3 shots on goal just doesn't really cut it.
In his first season, Stephen, obviously he inherited the side that came up. And obviously, particularly for the first 4 or 5 months of the season, there was that brilliant Ighalo and Deeney partnership. Obviously, Flores has come back in. He doesn't really have that. You could argue there's similarities between Gray and Ighalo, but I know you think Gray should only really be used as an impact player. That season, he really did go with that back 5, and it was interesting listening to Ben Foster's comments after the Norwich game saying, yeah, do you know what? Had to get a bit of defensive stability, gone to a back 5, but was very much a back 3 against Norwich. And at times, particularly in behind Janmaat, you got away with things. But I think there was a fixture there where it was a clear target to win the game. And I think the fixture against Burnley is likely to be the same, where you'll be a little bit more adventurous.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich coming into 7 in a row and not scoring, similar to what Watford had looked like. So, yeah, we could get away with, pushing our wing backs up and running just with that central three in the back, which didn't hurt us at times. But, I still feel Norwich looked better on the attack than we did going after Tim Krul and the Canaries defense. But Norwich just couldn't figure out the defense. They look good. Hernandez looked good. Pukki at times looked good, but, they got to the 18-yard box and they were baffled as to what to do. So, I don't think that'll be a problem this week for Burnley. I mean, they got two big forwards up there in Wood and Barnes, and, they're both bangers. So we'll see what happens. I'm honestly, I think we have to hope for a clean sheet. I mean, I think that's going to be our only saving grace is a clean sheet. So all it's going to take is one from Burnley, and I think we're going to struggle, especially playing from behind with a 5-man defense.
Jack, can I bring you in on your thoughts on Andre Gray?
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic for us in the Championship. Came in, Premier League, was our best striker. And then it was sort of all them homophobic comments that came around that sort of flipped it on its head. Because as soon as he went out the team, we was very shaky in defence. So we lined up playing 4-5-1 with him, obviously not starting because he was banned. And we just looked much better. So he sort of didn't get in the team. He was sort of in and out, sort of like what he is now at Watford, to be honest. And then just sort of made the decision for us that he wasn't actually going to start. And then when Watford offered £18 million for him, it was just like, wow, like you've got to snap your hands off at that. And it allowed Bards to come back in after he came back from injury. So it was sort of a win-win for us, really. We'd like to have him as a fringe player. He would definitely be better than Vidra, but I think it's more the Daesh system that he doesn't fit into rather than being a bad player. But he'd be one of them that he'll definitely probably get a goal against us at the weekend.
Just to clarify, Jack, those homophobic comments you're talking about, those were tweets that he'd made several years earlier as a non-league player, right? Yeah,
he was playing, I can't remember the team he was playing for, but it was like 2009, 10, something like that. And the FA just jumped all over it and banned him. There was someone recently who got away with it, wasn't there? Oh, was it Bernardo Silva with the racist comments?
He ended up getting a
one
fine
game
and
a
one game ban.
Compared to, I think Gray's was 5, 6, something like that, which seemed a bit heavy for what it was, considering it was a long time ago. But
yeah, I think Bernardo got off a little bit lightly because of certain mitigating circumstance, i.e. they're meant to be friends kind of things. The front two, Jack, obviously back together last week and beat Suj's West Ham, as you so often do. When you need as Suj called, when you need a big result to help you out, West Ham will turn up. Is it quite simply a case of those two back together, Burnley at their best?
Not necessarily, because we were absolutely awful against Sheffield United. You could have played anyone up front and we probably wouldn't have scored that day. But I think, like you say, without they're the sort of the heart of our attack. If you miss one, it's not as good as they are together. I think it's proved this season, actually. We're more reliant on Wood than we are Barnes. I think if Wood gets injured, he is more physical than what Ashley Barnes is. Whereas we used to have Vokes that could sort of do that as well. I think Rodriguez is a better replacement for Barnes in the team, personally, rather than Wood.
Yeah, I understand that.
Was it as easy as it looked beating my guys the other week?
Yeah.
Why did you bring that up?
No, because I'm interested. I see us at home week in, week out. I don't always see all of the away games unless they're on telly. But there are problems at West Ham, which we've spoken about on Tottenham, that are kind of they're starting to come across as if they're deep rooted, or that it's not just a bad day at the office, considering the run of results we've been on. And I just wanted the confirmation that my eyes are not deceiving me with that.
I came off after the game and I was like, you literally look just like we did the week before at Sheffield United. And I was like, just watch you go next week and you'll just do what we did and beat someone else 3-0.
Well, if it's Spurs this week, so if we do, I'll be happy. But it's not as easy a fixture as coming into playing West Ham after Sheffield United.
Yeah, we got the early goal and then I think there was about 5 minutes, so we just kept giving it away. But every time we gave it away, you gave it us back, and I was a bit like, all right, okay then.
What happened the week before then, Jack? It was really uncharacteristic. Was it just credit to the opposition, or?
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of both, really. Daesh tried to have a few comments saying that a few decisions here and there, but we could have been given 2 penalties and we'd still have got beat 3-2. We were terrible. Just a real off day for us, but a few fans sort of imploded on Twitter, said, oh, we're awful. And then I was just like, we've done this before and we've come back. So, and I knew we would, and obviously we did the week after, so I wasn't too concerned.
It seems interesting that obviously you had the Chelsea result the week before, where actually, in spite of losing 4-2, you had quite a few chances. Particularly, I'm thinking of the Barnes header at 1-0. It's interesting, though, that Daesh has very subtly remoulded a little bit of the back four in obviously the fixture against West Ham. What's changed, Jack?
Charlie Taylor's a much better option than Peters. I sort of tried to say that to people from the start. When he got his, in FPL terms, when he got his assists, they were just like long ball clearances and stuff. But yeah, Charlie Taylor's looked great since he's come back in. But whether it was just a mixture of playing out of form West Ham side, I don't really know. But the whole team was back to its usual self against West Ham, and you couldn't really pick out a man of the match.
Is he a lock now at left back?
Yeah, I would say so.
Because I think he's a really good option at 4.2.
Out of both fullbacks, someone messaged me this week asking about Loughton, and I was like, Loughton and Bardsley are a real strange one, because Loughton sort of dips in and out of form, but when he's at his best, he's much better than Bardsley, whereas Bardsley's your tough, more resilient, whereas I think on your left back, Charlie Taylor's just a much better player than Peters altogether.
Well, Bardsley's got the shirt now, hasn't he?
Yeah, so it's his to lose. I don't think Loughton will come back in until we have another off performance.
Do you think like Taylor would be, if I was to go into Burnley defensively now, is Taylor at 0.5 cheaper than Pope? Is that a better call?
I would say so. Because it's obviously you're going to get a clean sheet, but he's probably our most attacking fullback. I think we said this at the start of the season, but I got him straight in mind after I heard that he was potentially dropping Peters against West Ham. He played really well, to be fair, and he has a much better link-up player with McNeil as well, and with them both being down the left-hand side.
McNeil's a good player,
Can I push back on that as well, Jack? Did you know the team really early last week?
Yeah, someone told me in the pub.
Oh, right, okay. Because I noticed you tweeted the team out around about 1:30 and you were bang on.
Yeah, so someone must know someone at the club, and he told me, and he was like, honestly, that is official.
Well, can we find him and get a little bit more of this intel would be really useful. I think
invite him to your pub. I mean, if anyone's watching on YouTube, you'll notice why is there beer pumps behind Jack's head. He's in a beer cellar. So
yeah, the community will buy him drinks for that confirmation.
100%.
Yeah, Pope, Taylor, Barnes, Wood. They're all playing. Have we still got Stephen with us?
Yeah, Stephen, I thought of you the other day. For people that don't know, you support Watford because of the Championship Manager days, right?
FIFA
days
on the Xbox.
And you used to have Ben Foster as your goalkeeper, right?
I did.
And he nearly scored the other day, and I was just thinking that's a FIFA moment for Stephen of why he supports Watford. Ben Foster's brought it to real life now. Yeah, I did think of you when I saw that go in. Your articles this season have made me chuckle a little when you get to the end of each one and it's FPL recommendations, none. Week in, week out, none. Week in, week out, none. Just a couple of players potentially putting their hand up a little bit. Are you still of the mindset that there's no one at Watford to go for?
Before last week's game, yeah, I guess you could have honestly looked at one of the defenders or Ben Foster, but I still figure he's too expensive at 4.8. I know I saw a couple of people who picked up De La Feu, captained him for, a fairly good return with a goal and an assist, I believe it was. So, but that run's going to come to an end. Burnley at home and then Southampton away. After that, it's 4 ugly games. I think Palace is the easiest game we have. So, a 2-week, starting this week, 2-week punt if you want. But, I'm honestly looking. I mean, I've been setting up my team for the festive period, so I'm not looking at a 2-week punt or a 3-week punt on an 18th place team who may or may not score. And their track record this year has been awful. So, I mean, I just couldn't see bringing in an attacker. And as people have already alluded to, yes, Watford has more clean sheets than Liverpool, which is, mind-boggling in its own right. But, a lot of people buying in on Daryl Janmark on the right side. I mean, he's probably been our best defender going forward all season long. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, in a blink of an eye, he could be replaced by Kiko Femenia. So, I mean, his spot is not guaranteed. So that's another reason I really haven't been on, any sort of Watford inclusion into any FPL teams for the time being.
Looking at your team,
I need to see goals. I need to see wins.
Looking at your team, I hate to use the word template, but there's a lot of players in there that a lot of us have now. I mean, Pope, Alexander-Arnold, Lundstrom, De Bruyne, Mount, Tielemans, Vardy, Abraham, Salah. You'd almost say that Jimenez and Wan-Bissaka are the two kind of maverick picks, and even Jimenez is now picking up kind of a little bit more interest. So you've got a very well set up team there for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm actually going. I'm looking at Palace myself. I'm almost going triple Palace. Honestly, I've got the three forwards that everybody talks about. The Abrahams. I bought in on Vardy last week, and I've got Jimenez. But somebody made a mention of Jordan Ayew. Yeah, he doesn't score a lot, but he's out there for 75, 80 minutes. He is their best attacking player. I know James has mentioned it. You're looking at Wilfried Zaha, but honestly, he hasn't shown me anything in the last couple of weeks watching Palace. Not even a glimmer of, I want to be out here and, I want to get in the box and score. He's looked awful, but, I'm seriously looking at going in double defense on Palace and taking a chance. I mean, it can't be any worse than spending 14 or 15.5 million on Robertson and Alexander-Arnold and getting 2 points out of them each week. So, but yeah, the template's a nasty word. We all use it at, yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Nice
I'm not convinced on this Crystal Palace double up or triple up. If you've been drinking this 8% beer, send me a can, because I may then make the same move. But I
don't want this to become a Crystal Palace thing. Stephen, I quite agree with you that Wilfried Zaha has done absolutely nothing, which is why I might buy him. And Jack, I might be targeting to buy him for the fixture against you next week. Is that mad?
Yeah. We always seem to give a penalty against Palace. So
there you go.
I'd go for
where is it? Is it at Turf Moor or Selhurst?
Turf
Moor. It's at Turf Moor.
Jack, talk to me about Dwight McNeil. How good is he, mate?
Yeah, he's really good. Only issues is like we had the off day against Sheffield United. If the whole team has an off day, he doesn't do as much. But yeah, I think if he'd have been 0.5 million cheaper at the start of the season, he would have been a lock for a lot of people.
He scored quite a few points, right? What is it, 45?
One goal, 5 assists, 1% owned. And we every week when we kind of do the review pod, we kind of, Dwight McNeil played well again, and we just keep looking past it because I think there's other people at slightly more that you can get to, kind of like Daniel James's, and then further up Tielemans, and then the Maddison, Pulisic.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're going to keep overlooking him, Jack. But is that wrong? Because he's basically returning every other week.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sort of looked at that at the start of the season, but if you look outside, I mean, obviously Sheffield United are in the top 6 now, but other than that, you've got United 7th, Wolves 8th, and Wolves have got the obviously Europa League and all that sort of stuff going on, and we're sitting in 10th, so there's not many teams above us that you would have a cheap option on, with that sort of creative sort of statistics, really. He's probably a better option than Barnes or Wood, to be honest, because if you have Wood in your team, that Barnes scores because the goals can come from wherever with those two. Whereas I think in terms of wingers for us, sometimes it's Hendrick on the right, it's Goodmanson if he's fit, but he's always injured. Lennon was in, then he's out. I think he's the lock for you sort of creative midfielder. And sorry, Manchild, but Westwood doesn't sort of do it week in, week out, does he? Jack Cork, again, he's not that creative. So if there's anything sort of coming from the midfield, it comes from McNeil. So yeah, definitely, I think he's a real good option.
If I had to pin you, Jack, and you had to buy one Burnley asset right now, then would it be him?
That's a tough one.
In my team, so
there's cheaper assets at the back, isn't there?
Yeah, I think for value, Charlie Taylor's, is he 4.2 now or something?
Yeah.
That's crazy. We've not had that many.
I think he's great value. He's appeared at a stage where obviously Lundstrom, etc., have already grown in price. There's every chance. You've got such a reliability with Burnley that you know that they can frustrate in most fixtures. Very rare they're going to take a hiding. You know, they've had the 2 games where they conceded 7 goals. I think he's nipped it in the bud, and you move on. And we think he's a real prospect. We highlighted him when Jack come on in the summer. We've done it since. I think we were surprised that Peters had a run for as long as he did. I really like him at 4.2.
Yeah, I think Dyche has done his sort of put his faith in Peters because it's what he does. If he came in, played well, keeps his place. But I think now it is Taylor's spot to lose. So just annoying that every year I come on before the season and say, oh yeah, you should go for him. And then it's like first game of the season, everyone's messaging me going, why is he not starting? I was like,
I know. Stephen, same question to you, mate. If you had to buy a Watford player, who would it be?
I go cheap and go with Dale Janmart and then just rotate them when it looks like they may pick up a clean sheet. There's nobody else I want on that team right now.
Is there any consideration for Mariappa at 0.2 cheaper? Because obviously Kabasele will be suspended for the weekend. Is there any chance Mariappa could get in and hold that?
No, I don't think he could. He's getting on in age. Just played his 50th for Jamaica, over the international break. He's your journeyman. I mean, he's your typical stand-in when one of those 3 center halves, can't go. I mean, he's reliable, but for the money, I mean, if you plan on using him in a rotation basis, no, I don't think he's worth the savings you would get.
And Holibas, just the 5 yellow cards in 9 starts this year. That's angel behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, I'm almost willing to say I wish Messina were in there on the left side. As much as Holibas has been a mainstay on the left side since he's come over, minus his first run-in with Sanchez Flores. He's just getting on. He's 35, and he's just not. Yeah, he's there. I mean, I don't know why we re-signed him to a contract, to be honest with you, but we did.
I didn't think that you thought much of Messina, Stephen.
I don't. I'm not a big Messina fan, but he can't be worse than what Holibas is. That's how I'm looking at it. It's a damage control. I mean, Holibas is going to go out there and chances are he's going to pick up that yellow card for you. He always does. Lets the attitude get the best of him. I'm sure there's a lot of players we can say that about, but I'm not a big Messina fan, but he's looked, gotta say this, he's looked okay in a couple of games he has played. So, maybe he is the future of our left back situation when Holibas turns 36 and, can't be that box to box, attacking wing back that we've relied on for so many years.
It's only now 5-6 weeks away from the transfer window. You'll want to make sure that the Vultures stay off Decore as well, right? Because if you were to lose him for whatever reason in the transfer window, then and you were still inside the bottom 3, then it could be particularly difficult. But if you are near the bottom of the table, you can sometimes see teams come in and try and nick a player during that January transfer window, Christmas transfer window.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I haven't really heard anything from the other Watford podcasts I listen to. My theory is if you just happen to be in the bottom 3, I think it's a fire sale. I think they'll sell their big price players. They'll sell the Decores. We got Domingo Quinas who can come in. We've got some under 23s who've been playing very well who could potentially come in, maybe not start, but if we're in the bottom 3, I can see them selling up a bunch of players and, looking toward the championship next year. If we're, anywhere outside the bottom 3, then I think no matter who comes in, I think Decore will honor the contract and the Pozzos won't sell them. I mean, what was that? I think it was a contract through 2022, if I recall. 2025.
I was really impressed, Stephen, with Chalobah at Tottenham, but then he really disappointed when you played Chelsea and seems to be back out of the team again now. He's a good young talent, Nathaniel Chalobah.
Yeah, he's a great talent, and I know we've got some good young talent, under 23, under 21, but Chalobah looks like he's a little hesitant going into attacks. He does want to get hurt again, which, obviously if you play timid like that, you're not going to play up to your full potential. So, but he's filled in fairly well with Etienne Capoue out due to the lower back strain. So, we probably see him until Capoue and some of those other midfielders and attackers are back fit and ready to go in the starting 11.
Capoue's a frustrating enigma. He really is. I know from obviously I had him at Spurs. He's got all the ability. It's whether he wants to play on the day or not.
Yeah, it can be frustrating.
Really is a frustrating player.
Jack, what are your thoughts for the weekend then? Give us a prediction. We like to always get the scores on the doors.
I'm going to go 1-1.
You
I know it's a game. Yeah, it's always tricky to go away from home. I think if we wouldn't have had the international break, I would have been a little bit more confident. But you always look at teams like Watford and think, I honestly don't think they'll be down there at the end of the season. So they've got to pick it up at some point. Only thing that worries me is after this weekend, we've got Palace, then it's City, then it's Spurs. So the next two games, Palace and Watford. I think as long as we don't lose points at the weekend, yeah, but I'm going 1-1.
Interesting. And Stephen, what about from your point of view? What are you hoping for?
0-0. I'll take 1 point and call it a day.
Board draw.
Even though
0-0.
I would like 3, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't see Watford scoring a goal. I think Burnley's got a fairly stout defense at times. Probably more at home than away. But I'm a big Pope fan. I like the fact Charlie Taylor's finally gotten back in the lineup. And you look at our 2 goals last week. I mean, that Andre Gray goal was. I don't know how much of that was talent and how much of that was luck, but that goal could have gone either way. And even De La Feu's first goal, the shot looked a little weak to me, and it seemed like Tim Krul may have been shielded and just got a late jump on it. So the goals weren't that they weren't that convincing, and we only had 2 shots on goal. Thankfully, they both found the back of the net.
Thank God they did win.
Yeah, true. I think Burnley are going to win at the weekend. I think Sean Dyche is going to be really up for following up the West Ham win with more points. I think he's going to get the team really fired up. I think a 2-1 or something like that. I can see Chris Wood and Barnes getting on the score sheet. I'm going to go with an away win.
I'm going to go 1-0 Watford.
Oh.
Yeah, no clean sheet away from home yet for Burnley. I feel like, I said this after Watford played us, it really would improve defensively. I think that's happened now with 3 clean sheets in 5. I think now they need to go and target wins with respect to Burnley in fixtures like this to get themselves out of it. The draws home to Bournemouth, Sheffield United, the like is not going to be enough. But on reflection, you played 2 sides who are possibly better than maybe we realise. I can see Watford just about nicking this. First goal would be really important. I would be low scoring, under 2.5 goals, nearly a lock.
Really?
I'd say, yeah.
That's £2 of my money going on that.
Yeah, what to win you about £2.80 or something.
Whatever it does, it does. But I bought a Euro Millions ticket for today, so come 11 p.m, I'm already going to be a multi-millionaire. So what are we worried about? Guys, I just wanted to say thank you for the articles and all the content and contribution on Twitter and what have you to the FPL community and also the Planet FPL listeners and stuff. It is really useful for obviously a lot of people that don't follow all of the teams week in, week out to just get a bit of insight, especially Jack, when you're dropping the team 100% accurate, if you can do that regularly, we wouldn't mind that at all. And also Stephen as well, like the most prolific FPL writer known to man, I would say.
Yeah, astonishing levels, mate.
So yeah, really do appreciate.
We haven't asked him where he's actually recording.
Oh yeah, we did put the tweet out to kind of. Did you see the poll, Stephen? I heard some birds a little while ago, some seagulls or something, didn't I, in the background?
Yeah, I'm just walking the streets of Oakland, right outside of where I work. So if you hear gunshots or anything like that, yeah, be very scared for me.
What's it? 911, right?
That's just Burnley, mate.
Yeah, that'll be in Preston at the pub where Jack is. And
not to be outdone, Jackie's recording in his new bar in his cellar, mate. Yeah. Fair play to both of you.
As soon as
pretty cold as well, I'm gonna hand that out there.
Yeah.
If you're caught cold up there, mate, well, yeah.
Sorry, Stephen, you were saying.
Oh no, I say I'd love to be in Jack's cellar right now. I could pop a few 8% beers and definitely get along, no problem.
Pop a bottle. We did talk about this in the summer, Stephen, about getting you over here for Planet FPL Live. We haven't got anything in the diary yet, so when we do, you're going to have to figure out this transportation situation from California to wherever we are, and it may even be in the north, Manchester.
Well, apparently we're having the after party in Jack's pub in Burnley now.
We are in the cellar.
Yeah, just
things are changing here. I'm actually looking to try to get out at the end of January. It's probably going to be up north near Newcastle, but obviously, what is it, 2-3 hour train ride from London? Was it King's Crossing up to Newcastle? I don't know if that'll happen yet, but that's my initial plans. If not, then I'll wait for one of these parties to take place and hopefully hop a flight over and show you how it's done.
Listen, if you're coming over, we'll arrange a party for that. Don't worry about that. So definitely, as soon as you know what you're doing, DM James and me, and we'll be on it. James, what else have we got coming this week for the listeners?
Final plan tomorrow. We'll run through this very difficult captaincy selection for game week 13. We may have some issues defensively in our differential team that we need to cover off together. We'll talk North v South, transfer plans for the weekend ahead.
Correct. Other than that, once again, just saying thanks to the guys. Do stay tuned. Do like, subscribe, hit your notification bell and everything else that you need to do on YouTube and iTunes and wherever else you are listening. But ciao for now.
Thanks, lads. Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.